Welcome to the Camnon Biz Podcast. We are here with two special guests representing a new way of life, a different way of life. It's not so new, but I'm here with Christine Radovich and Debbie Swales from Atlantic Barter. This is one of the oldest and most reputable trade exchanges in the Mid-Atlantic region, having been in business since 1993. This large network of business owners trade their products and services in order to gain new customers, save cash, and turn over inventory more quickly and at full retail pricing. Before you pay cash for your next business-related purchase, ask if you could obtain it on trade through Atlantic Barter instead. So Debbie and Christine, how are you all today?
We're great. Thank you so much for having us here on your podcast.
This is awesome. Yeah, when I first found out about you all and what Atlantic Barter is all about, I said, I've been talking about this for years. I didn't realize people were actually doing this. So give us a little insight into this way of life. What is Atlantic Barter actually doing for business owners and for people in the community in general?
I am happy to answer that question. First, I want to apologize that I'm not on camera. I am having camera difficulties, as I had previously mentioned. So we're trying to get that sorted out. So you won't see my lovely face.
Christine,
However,
I was trying to be discreet. You weren't supposed to mention that.
Oh, okay. Well, in the future, we'll get me on video here. But Atlantic Barter has been in business since 1993, and we are the one of the oldest and most reputable trade exchanges, probably up and down the East Coast. So I've been with the company for, gosh, a long time. I think I started in 1998. My former career was law enforcement. But when I discovered organized professional trading, that was a game changer for me. I had never really heard about this. It's not something that's taught in school, and yet it's an extremely effective way to do business. And the old question that I used to ask on my radio show all the time was, would you rather write a check or pay with a credit card for $1,000 worth of something that you need? Or would you rather pay with $1,000 worth of your product or service sold at full retail value, which doesn't cost you $1,000, right? The latter is allowing you to shop at your wholesale cost. Because if you're a service provider, you're trading your time, obviously downtime. If you're in the hospitality industry and you have empty tables in your restaurant or empty hotel rooms, once that time slot goes by, unrented or unfilled, you're never going to have an opportunity to recapture that revenue again. So every empty table, every empty seat, and every room, every empty garage bay at a mechanic shop, it's all lost revenue if that time goes by. If you're that mechanic, you don't want to pay your guys to sweep the floor. You're not making money at that point. So why not have a business owner come in and get an oil change done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon when you're dead as nails? And then you're earning full retail value for that time slot in a new separate account that is not part of your bank account that you can now draw upon and use in place of cash. The win-win here is that, again, $100 or $500 or $1,000 doesn't cost you that much. So you're turning empty time slots and excess inventory into purchasing power.
Man, that sounds like that can take away a world of hurt for a lot of business owners. How come more people aren't doing this?
I think it's just that, we're not on television stations promoting, and we should be. We have advertising opportunities on just about every channel, but we don't like to use that inventory for ourselves. We like to dole that out to our members who want to advertise. But could you imagine? I always like to ask business owners this question: what would you do for your business if cash were no object? Would you advertise more? Would you buy more equipment for your business? Would you maybe travel more and take a much needed vacation. Like, what would you do differently if money were no object, right? And it's not that money's not an object, it's just that most business owners need more of it. They're not budgeted for certain things. So, a trade account, by trading your downtime or excess inventory, can open up new budgets. So, our approach as brokers, in that we first have to bring business through your doors, which is easy to do. We also have to help you spend your trade dollars. And there's a two-prong approach there. It's A, what can we transition from your current cash expenditures and transition that into trade purchases, thereby freeing up your cash flow? Or B, what opportunities might you take advantage of because now you have a budget, whereas before you had not? So that's two very important questions for any business owner. Would you advertise? How are you advertising yourself now? Are you paying cash for Google? Are you doing free social media, in any kind of little group that you can get in, and you hope and pray that someone sees your posting and wants to do business with you? Or are you paying $350 a year to a chamber of commerce to stick your name in a directory and hope that people remember to call you? That's not how you do business. You have to go to their events, and then you've got to pay extra to go to those events. And nothing against a chamber of commerce, but unless you're working it, it doesn't work for you. But with Atlantic Barter, our membership fee, we substantially reduced after COVID to just $99, so that it would be virtually no risk for them to dip their toe in the water, experience the pond, so to speak, and familiarize yourself with all the other members that are actively trading. And so you can trade with anyone. There's no direct trading. This isn't Craigslist. We're not asking you to trade your old rusty tools for somebody's ATV. That's not a fair exchange in value. And you find that all over Craigslist. And nothing against Craigslist, but you don't know who you're going to find on those websites, right? Our members are vetted. They are screened. They are reputable. They're well known. We wouldn't broker them out if we didn't feel comfortable in their ability to fulfill their end of the bargain. And we police the network. So, if we connect you with someone, the buyer and the seller agree to a price, and then the buyer's account gets debited and the seller's account gets credited. You now have those trade dollars, a trade dollar being equivalent to a cash dollar, to spend anywhere in the network on things that you need. So if it's a chiropractor buying from you and you don't have any need for chiropractic adjustments, and let's say your service is $1,000, you certainly don't want to have to go back and spend $1,000 with a chiropractor. In the trade network, you don't have to do that. You can take that 1,000 trade dollars, go buy a vacation, or take $150 and get pest control to get rid of those pesky ants that always gather around the sink in the summertime at your home. Use the barter dollars before you use your cash dollars, because guess what? Every time you spend a trade dollar, a cash dollar is saved and it remains in your bank account. And that's what you want to use to pay for your mortgage or your rent, your utilities, your insurance, things we can't barter. But barter for everything else first, because that increases your purchasing power and protects your cash flow.
Man, this is, I'm struggling to contain myself. I have a moment of clarity here, right? I grew up romanticizing about Little House on the Prairie. So the whole idea about how, people just get together in the community and everybody has something to offer, and this person does this for that person does this for that person. This is not a new idea, right? This is, been around as long as there's been history. So
decades, right?
Decades, probably even longer than that. I'm sure you can go into different civilizations and find out how do those economies work. But in modern times, in recent times, to bring back the Little House on the Prairie analogy, I'm looking at communities that are actually doing this and thriving. I think about here in Delaware, we got the Amish community. Wherever there's a Dutch country market, you see people who are industrious. They come in, they know how to work it, bring their goods and services to the exchange, and people come in. You get loads of people who come in from outside spending dollars in cash, but you also have relationships and I guess fair exchanges that can take place within that community as well. So there's nothing
That's right.
stopping any group of people from just doing this and making this work like you all have been doing since 1993.
Right. Now, the difference between trading with your neighbor, and let me just go into the legal ramifications of trade, because what I don't want to do is mislead anyone into thinking, oh, okay, I'm going to go out and trade with my neighbor. Because you can get yourself in a lot of trouble with the IRS if they discover that you're trading with your neighbor and you're not reporting the fair value of that exchange. And
Hence
that
the
is
need for a bookkeeper.
Yes, and you need a bookkeeper. You're going to call this man right here, Vernon, right? He'll keep you straight. But yes, I mean, if you're mowing your neighbor's lawn and they're a hairdresser, and like, hey, I'll give you haircuts, and maybe that's a bad example for you, but you say, look, let's keep this arrangement going because it's almost a fair exchange. Maybe $35 worth of haircuts for $35 worth of lawn mowing. But again, if the IRS finds out about that and you're not reporting those transactions, they will fine you. The one thing about being involved in the professional organized trade exchange is that we itemize every sale and it's tied into every purchase because everything is a dual-sided transaction that
Mhm.
shows up with your monthly statement. And that statement can be given to your accountant and your bookkeeper so that they can keep you straight and say, okay, you purchased advertising, you purchased accounting, you purchased payroll, you purchased legal services, you purchased that eye exam or that dental cleaning. That's all a write-off, just like it would be for cash. Oh, you took that vacation to Florida. Unless you were talking business, that's really not a write-off, right? But you can pay yourself on trade as well. So go eat out, go take that vacation, go get a massage, go get your hair done. Even though you might not be able to expense that for the business, it's still a way to pay yourself. And again, keep those cash dollars in your bank account. So with the IRS, this money is considered reportable revenue. Your year-to-date sales is reported to the IRS in the form of a 1099. We give you at the beginning of the year for the previous year. And when you make those business related purchases, it offsets your tax liability, just like it does for cash. It's a win-win. And
Wow.
we have nonprofits that we work with as well. Make-A-Wish Foundation, American Red Cross of the Delmarva Peninsula, the Habitat for Humanity, not Habitat, Humane Animal Partners, Faithful Friends, Salvation Army. So you can make tax-deductible donations using your trade dollars, which become a write-off, which can help impact the cash side of your business.
Mm, loving it. You talking my language, win-win. I mean, what's the
Mm-hmm.
downside to this? Debbie, you've probably seen over the years, you've probably seen lots of different types of businesses that have been involved in this type of exchange that have gained benefit from this. What types of businesses are taking advantage of this type of arrangement?
Well, we've got a lawn fertilization company. They've had their vehicles wrapped for advertising. We've got a dessert guy that is very well known. His work van was wrapped with a graphic. The advertising, pest control. Just about any type of business industry, construction workers, plumbers, painters, any of that type of stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, we just today talking about construction. Now, that can be a blessing and a curse because you have to have reliable people in the trades industries that will come out and do, the projects that you need on your home. And we're fortunate enough, we have a pretty new member who does commercial and residential construction projects of all different types of phases. And just today, well, we actually split the trade in half, but we have a $46,000 trade coming in for construction services for a church, as a matter of fact. They had earned trade dollars because they sold us some Christmas ornaments and things. They had taken in a mass quantity of like a liquidation from department stores. And so they had earned credits when they had a sale, and whatever was left over, they didn't want to get stuck with it. So we purchased it from them, and we put the trade dollars in their account. Now they're using it to get renovations done for the church, paving their lot and some construction. And, they're saving $46,000 in cash. That's a
Wow.
win-win.
and still getting the product or service that they wanted, that they would have had to pay for.
Right. Now it's a big project, and I will tell you, the whole project is over 100,000, but they had about $46,000 accumulated in trade that they put toward that project, toward the labor of that project. So
that's nothing to sneeze at.
no,
I'd
not
like to
at
say
all.
$46,000.
That is $46,000 that they're able to keep in the church bank account, by trading what they had at the time. And now they love it so much, they're going to offer some other things on trade for us in the future. Now that they're utilizing those monies, they want to keep the trading going and the flow of business coming in through their door, so that they always have this additional revenue stream on hand. Because again, if you've got to write a check to, let's say your air conditioning goes on the fritz and you need a repair, and let's just say $400, okay, as an example, 500. Do you want to write a check for that? Do you want to put that on a credit card? No, you want to pay for that with $500 worth of your service from new business that Atlantic Barter brought to you. So imagine if you were able to write your mortgage check every month and you take it to the bank, and the bank says, "Oh, no problem, Mr. Muhammad. I see that you just paid us $1,000 for your mortgage this month. We're going to bring you a couple new customers to replace that $1,000 you just spent with us." Would that be agreeable to you? And you say, "You're going to bring me new customers and I'm going to earn back at least that much money and maybe even more?" Hell yeah. Excuse my French, but that would be a great conversation to have with your banker. But that doesn't happen. Now, if you're in Atlantic Barter, it happens all the time. You're going to buy something like advertising or payroll or pest control or chimney cleaning or social media or cybersecurity or whatever it is. And then we're going to say, "Look, we're going to bring you new customers. You spent that, but now we're going to bring it and we're going to replace that income." So you always have an ongoing stream of money to spend. And now I'm sure the question that is on everyone's mind is, how do we make money in all this, right? So we don't do this for free, but we do charge a small transaction fee on purchases. It's 12.5 cents on every dollar that you spend. So there's no fee for sales. If I bring you an additional $50,000 worth of business in a calendar year, there's no fee when you earn it. However, when you go to spend it, if you spend $1,000 for an ad in a major publication, or maybe for some radio ads or TV ads, and you spend $1,000, we debit your trade account 1,000 trade dollars. Your fee to Atlantic Barter is 125. That's what's coming out of your bank account, 125 cash dollars. So again, would you rather pay 125 cash or 1,000 cash? The answer is pretty clear.
Makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. And you win. It's almost like you're winning both ways. I don't mind making sure that I pay the exchange for bringing the business that I would have had to spend money for, and maybe that would have worked, maybe it didn't work. But you bought me a customer. I don't mind. I certainly don't mind making sure that you get compensated for that service and that value.
And guess what? Those barter customers will lead to more cash customers, because they all have friends, family, and neighbors that aren't part of the barter. So when their neighbor down the street, and this actually happened, I had an advertiser and he needed power washing. I sent the power washer, and the owner of the magazine introduced him to 5 of his neighbors, and he got all 5 cash jobs. He called me up. He said, "Christine, I can't thank you enough for doing this job. I am so elated. I just picked up 5 cash jobs by doing this one barter job." I said, "That, my friend," his name was Chris, I said, "is exactly what this is all about." That is how it's meant to work. Ask for the referral. Say, "Hey, can you walk me down the street? Or do you know any of your neighbors that could use my roofing services or my pest control or this or that," right? Plop a yard sign in the front of your yard when you're doing work on the property, so that everybody drives by sees that you just did the tree trimming or the lawn fertilization. And guess what? Those yard signs can be gotten on trade.
So I was just going to say, yeah, I'm sure that there's lots of connections being made, and businesses are finding other businesses to exchange with, but I'm pretty sure some good relationships are developing out of this too. People do business with who they know, like, and trust. So absolutely. I'm sure you're forming a community of people who continue to do business with one another over and over again.
Yes. And that's why I hold monthly networking events. And it's not just about barter. I'm also the ambassador for Alignable for Delaware. And so we hold in-person monthly networking meetings so that you can mix and mingle and shake hands with other people in the community. And I promote that to my barter members to come on out because I want them to have those cash opportunities as well. Shake hands with other people in the community. And like you said, they'll do business with people they know, like, and trust. But if you don't attend, how will they know about you? How will they know about your service? And if you attend regularly, you're now going to stay top of mind, right? So now, they might not do business with you automatically, but maybe 4 months down the road, something happens to their bookkeeper and they retire and they need a new bookkeeper. Ding, ding, ding. Oh my gosh, I know Vernon. He comes to these meetings all the time. I guess I need to talk to him. Hey, Vernon, my bookkeeper just retired. So can you give me a quote? Well, I'd be glad to. So you put yourself out there, network. If you're a business owner and you are not making it a must to connect with fellow professionals in your community, you are doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah, I'm surrounded by people who are talking, in the entrepreneur circle, everybody's talking about getting more leads and conversion rates and whatnot. Exposure, get yourself out there. If you closed mouth, don't get fed. One of my mentors used to say that to me all the time till it was drilled in my head. So
I like that.
Having conversations like what we're having now, this is what I do. And now once I found out about Alignable, once I found out about Atlantic Barter, I'm trying my best to be up in the mix. I see the value and I see the benefits. So you're doing great work. I'm happy that I got a chance to meet you and get my introduction to Atlantic Barter. How can people find Atlantic Barter and how can people find you?
Right. So if you're on Alignable, I'm on Alignable, but you can just visit our website, atlanticbarter.com. That's Atlantic like the ocean, and barter is spelled Barter. And so our phone number's there. It's 302-654-5650. Pick up the phone, talk to myself or Debbie, or on occasion if Nancy or someone answers the phone, but we're the two main people here at the organization and we can answer all of your questions and make sure that barter is a good fit for you. The last thing that we're going to do is sign someone up if we don't feel that we can get you business. And there's certain types of businesses that aren't a good fit. We don't really work with insurance brokers because it's highly regulated, or bankers because can't barter money from the bank.
Right.
But one thing I will say, if you're looking for some funding for your business, instead of taking out a loan that has interest on it, you can actually get interest-free loans through Atlantic Barter. It's funds in the form of trade dollars that can be used for things that you need for your business, from signage and maybe office equipment to, that renovation on the house, or flooring or painting or drywall, or, computer network wiring or cyber security, whatever you need, alarm systems, the list goes on and on. So check out our website, and on the FAQ page, which is about us, there's a little link that'll take you to the categories of all the different types of business services and personal services that are available on a trade basis. And we've developed these relationships through the years. So let us do the work for you instead of you trying to get on some website somewhere and conduct a one-on-one trade that you don't know that who the other party is and if they're really going to honor their end of the deal. I've heard so many horror stories when people try to trade on their own. One-on-one trades are great as long as both parties have what the other one needs. But even at times when they do, you don't know who it is on the other end of that internet, right? You don't know them. You haven't met them. They're just saying they're going to do your tree trimming because you're going to build them a website, right? Next thing you know, you build the website and they never come through and do your trees. So I've heard horror stories like that. Don't do it. Get yourself involved for $99. Get involved in a professional trade exchange. It's less than the cost of belonging to a chamber year after year. And then you're exposed to, probably 2,000 business owners. We have about 800, just a little under 1,000, but because we have reciprocal people in our area, just in the tri-state area, the numbers are about 2,000 business owners. And then when you go across the United States and Canada, you're looking at upwards of about 300,000 business owners that trade. So we do have relations all throughout the United States and Canada. So when you like to travel, we got you back.
Hey, I love the idea of being in the right place at the right time. So thank you. This is what that sounds like for sure. So that's about all that we have today. I wanted to make sure that we're exposing, and anytime I come across something good, I want to put the word out there and let people know, hey, I'm on the come up, so we can all come up and plug in where I'm plugged into, and let's all make some good things happen. So thank you for accepting my invitation. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you. And here's a little tidbit, interesting information, y'all. Debbie's the strong, silent type.
She is. She's quiet as a church mouse, but she's very powerful, and she loves connecting people. Am I right, Deb?
Yes, ma'am.
Love being around people who get the job done. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, hey, that is another episode of the Camnon Biz Podcast. Thank you for tuning in to this one. Like, subscribe, and share. Put the word out. Spread the word. Who knows? We might all run across one another at the Atlantic Barter Trade Exchange.
Thank you so much for having us today. We really appreciate you, Vernon.
All right.